So let's face it, most of us have stood in front of our closets or wardrobes at some point or another thinking, I actually have nothing to wear. How is this possible? There is so many things in here, but yet I'm going through this circular motion of pulling something out, putting it back on again, and thinking, no, this doesn't work for me. So, what if the real issue wasn't so much about how much you have, but actually how much it really aligns with who you are and the leader you're trying to show up as every day? Welcome to the Style and Strategy Podcast, where personal brand meets leadership and style. I'm Sonia, a personal brand and style coach who's been exactly where you are, juggling career and business success, personal growth, and finding a style that truly fits. After decades in corporate leadership, I've learned that showing up isn't just about what you do. It's about how you align who you are and how the world sees you. This season, I'm bringing you practical strategies, bold insights, and honest conversations to help you amplify your presence, unlock your next level, and lead with clarity and confidence. Let's dive in. If you are looking to elevate your brand and your style in 2025, I have something super special for you. I am kicking off a 5-day free workshop focused on owning the room in style the first week of February. You do not want to miss out on this 5-day workshop with me. I am going to be covering off on everything from owning that room, style, brand, simplifying everything, and getting to a point where you can revise and refine over time. So if this is on your vision board for 2025, then register below. The details are in the show notes, and I can't wait to see you there. At the same time that week, we are also opening the doors to the Activate Blueprint. I have not opened the doors to this group program since August of last year. So if you have been waiting to join the only personal brand and style program that is out there, then get your name on the wait list so that way you can ensure that you are notified as soon as the doors open, as well as the early bird bonuses that are available to you. I can't wait to see you at the workshop or on the other side in the program. Welcome back to the Style and Strategy Podcast. Today, I am going to be talking through some of the practical yet really important steps you can take to align your personal brand with your leadership goals. And I'm calling it a leadership wardrobe review. And so this is not about a standard cleaning out your closet or wardrobe for the sake of it. It's actually about trying to create a wardrobe that works for you, supports your confidence, and reflects that leader you're stepping into. So I'm really hoping to be able to cover off today 3 key things. One is how to recognize the signs that your wardrobe's potentially holding you back. 2, a couple of step-by-step tips in how to audit that closet with that sort of focus and goal in mind. And 3, how to shop with a little bit more intentionality to fill back those gaps in your wardrobe so it actually aligns with those goals. So by the end of this episode, if you stick with me, I'm hoping that you're going to have a really clear plan to curate the wardrobe that will help empower you, eliminate that decision fatigue, and help you fully show up in every single space that you enter. So let's get into it. So here are a few signs that you may or may not recognize that could be potentially holding back your style and you really stepping into that next level version of you. So 1, you actually are starting to feel invisible. I know this sounds a bit odd when we're talking about your wardrobe and clothes, but it's so much more than that. It's potentially those times where you walk into meetings or events and suddenly you feel like, am I blending into the background here? Someone might not be hearing the message that I'm talking about, or someone else might have actually said it. And you seem like, but didn't I just say that a few minutes ago? Even when you've got those really important messages to say, but somehow you feel overlooked. And sometimes what can be happening here is what we're wearing is unintentionally sending a message that we don't want to be noticed. We want to blend into the background, or potentially that we're not actually confident in our own skin. So I want you to have a bit of a think about that. Have you ever come across those moments in time? The second one is a little bit of what I would describe as decision fatigue, right? You are spending how many minutes, moments of the day making decisions from the minute that you wake up to the point around breakfast. What am I going to get done today? Thinking about what's going on at work, your emails, who do I need to talk to? You get into work, then you got 50 million people actually coming at you for micro decisions and macro decisions. So you're spending all your time thinking about all of that, and then going to your wardrobe and trying to figure out what to wear on top of that, that's actually going to make you feel confident, empowered. It's all just too hard, and hence you continue to reach for that same thing again. And so that is a clear sign that potentially your wardrobe might be lacking a little bit of what I would call cohesion. And so a wardrobe that's aligned with your leadership goals and how to actually make it easier is really important for you to be able to take that next step. Number 3 around this is what I would call about you don't really feel like yourself anymore. And so what does that actually mean? You've got pieces that technically fit you, right? So they work for your body shape, but it doesn't feel like you anymore. They were great. They're still in great condition, but maybe they're leftovers from an earlier phase of life that you had. Maybe they were impulse buys that now don't quite align with where and how you want to show up. You can't quite articulate what that looks like. So, if and where your wardrobe doesn't match that leader you're now becoming, or the leader that really showcases who you are today, then it can create this subtle disconnect between how comfortable you really feel in that meeting, in that workshop, on that stage, whatever that might be with your stakeholders. It really can dilute the essence of who you are. And so a bonus one here is around inconsistency in your style. If you're feeling like your outfits are all over the place, so you're feeling really polished and sharp one day when you've hit that boardroom meeting, and then really, really cash the next day, and it's feeling like an issue for you, or you're just noticing this juxtaposition in your style, it's not because your clothes define you, it's because you're not feeling like you're actually amplifying who you are and that confidence in your presence. So I want you to think about those 4 areas, and are you ticking those, or do any of those really resonate with you? And if they do, keep kind of listening in to get some next steps around that. So now let's get really into the nitty gritty, right? So, one of the things that I'm pretty much known for is that I love to see the vision and the strategy around things, but then execution and implementation is really at the core and heart. I like to see action and change and progress around things, because there's no point just, talking about vision and not being able to put it into play. So let's talk about a wardrobe audit for a bit. That's a little bit more intentional and a little bit more productive. So this is not about the minimalist trend of just throwing everything out It's actually about going through and keeping what works and identifying the gaps and letting go of what no longer serves you. So, first of all, before you even walk into that wardrobe, you need to set your leadership vision. As I said before, I'm about that strategy, that vision. What does that look like for you? So, before you even touch a hanger, you need to think about, what kind of leader am I becoming? What do I want to present at? Whether that's at home, at work, right across the board. What's important to me? How does that describe my style? What do I want that to be? Because this is actually going to be what guides your decisions. Then once you've got really clear around that, I want you to be able to sort your wardrobe into your categories. And many of us have heard some of these before, but the key piece here, or the differentiator for me, is being able to align that back to your vision. It's not just looking at that piece in its isolation. So you're going to be pulling out the things that you're going to keep, that you love, that fit well, but most importantly, align with those leadership goals. Are you going to donate? Are you going to sell? Pieces that don't fit, feel outdated, no longer align with that vision. And then you're going to have this maybe pile. So items that you might not sure about. And then you're going to revisit this when you've gone through everything else. Finally, number 3 is about identifying your staples or your core hard working pieces. And if you're not sure what those are or want a bit of a guide around that, definitely grab my wardrobe checklist for professional career women, because that has a list of items as well as goes through some ways for you to be able to mix and match those easily and why they are so important. So there'll be details of that in the show notes to grab that. But every wardrobe essentially needs a foundation. These are not the only pieces, but it's your foundational pieces. So I want you to be looking for, versatile, high quality pieces that you can wear time in and time again. So you can have them really being able to pull together and working hard and smarter for your wardrobe for the long term. And if they are missing, then you need to upgrade them and make sure that they are there. Number 4 is around, well, where do I have some gaps in my wardrobe? I want you to think about your typical week at work. Are you at home, working from home, or are you heading into the office? I know many of us working more in the office now than we were before. Some organizations are, really asking people to come back into the office if you're employed, or if you're working from home. Maybe you've got a virtual office that you head to, or perhaps it's, how are you structuring your week? So if you're thinking about that, it might be casual Fridays. It might be casual all the time. Your office could have shifted to smart casual. It might be networking events, Zoom calls. What is it and how is it? Are you showing up for those? Do you have a plan around those? Or are you a type of person that likes to be able to go with the moment and see how you feel? And can you walk into those feeling really seamless? If not, what's missing there? Number 5 here is really about letting go of excess. So be honest about the items you haven't worn for a really long time. Maybe it's a year. You need to work out for you. I could say the items haven't been worn in, 3, 4 months, but you need to think about you and what really that line is for you. So it could be a year, but then add to it why. That's what's really important. Maybe it's a sentimental piece that you really want to hold on to, and that's important for you. So in that case, holding on to it is important. So I'm not necessarily talking about that. But, if it's not serving you, then it might be time to let it go. I know for me, I recently went through this exercise again, and it's just something I like to do on a regular basis because it just keeps fresh and top of mind where my style is going, what my brand looks like, what my leadership presence needs to look like, and what's going to work for me from a practical perspective. What have I got going on in my world? And so having pieces there that really I'm not wearing isn't serving me, creating efficiency or letting go of the decision fatigue. So I make sure that I do that on a regular basis and just really as a checkpoint there. I want you to then finally take some notes, keep a list of what you have, what you need. And really, this is going to be your roadmap for the next step being intentional shopping. And, I get asked about this a lot, right? Because these days, many clients that I work with, you don't want to just shop up and, do a haul like we've seen. We want to be intentional about the pieces that we're putting back into our wardrobe. We want to be able to, get maximum wear. Most of my clients care about the environment, they care about sustainability, they care about getting bang for their buck. And so I am a big supporter of that as well. You want to create impact in the way that you look and the way that you present, but at the same time, you want to make sure those pieces are getting longevity. And it's not about the hauls, it's not about, the constant buying cycle. It's really about things that feel like you and create intentionality in what you're putting in your wardrobe for the long term. So, how to actually do that and fill your gaps. So, once you've audited your wardrobe, the really next step is filling those gaps, shopping strategically and not impulsively. So, one, start with your list. Remember that roadmap that we created a bit earlier? I want you to stick to it. Whether it's a blazer, whether it's a pair of shoes, statement shoes, or something that you really need, it becomes really important to go back to that because you need a guideline. Otherwise, you're kind of out there and then you're adding to your decision fatigue and overwhelm. I want you to think about versatility. I want you to think about how can I use pieces that really cross multiple settings. So if you happen to follow me across Instagram, you'll know that I do on a regular basis a series about, one piece, three ways. This is really there to help you see how you can create that versatility across multiple settings. How do you make that dress work for you for work and weekend, to a meeting, a casual outing with, friends perhaps? And then it's really about investing around quality and not quantity. It's about having those few high quality pieces that fit well and last longer rather than a closet full of mediocre sort of, average pieces in there. Yes, they have their place, but you want to have pieces in there that can last you the test of time. And I know that as I have got older, as I have started to refine my wardrobe, quality fabrics has been so important to me. Even the standard t-shirt, really the way a piece feels and the quality of that fabric on my skin is really important to me because it can really shift how I feel in that outfit as well. And then finally, number 5 is staying true to your style. Don't shop for who you think you should be. Shop for who you are and the leader you are. You already are an expert in the industry that you work for. Yes, there might be areas that you're looking to elevate, but you're shopping for that woman that you are and can be, and really aligns with those leadership goals. So whether that means bold, understated, or a mix of both, you need to be really focused and targeted when you're shopping for those. So the goal here is to really create a wardrobe that is you, authentically you, and aligns to those leadership goals. It is no way, shape, or form about creating the perfect wardrobe or the perfect style. It's about alignment to who you are because that's what really matters. And it's not about a cookie cutter approach so that everyone looks the same. It's about pulling out your unique through line. So, I've given you a lot to work through in this episode today. So, the key takeaway that I want you to think through is that a wardrobe that really aligns with your leadership vision is more than just practical, it's actually empowering. It removes the distraction. It removes the decision fatigue. It creates confidence and it helps you show up as the woman you are, as the leader you are in every single room that you enter, from the boardroom to the meeting to the school pickup gate. It is all aligned. So I'd love you to set an hour aside this week, start to have some thinking around this and ask yourself, what is really working? What is not? And what do I need to support the leader you're becoming? Even if you just tackle one section, you'll be able to feel the difference. Trust me. Your wardrobe doesn't have to be perfect to work for you, but it does need to reflect the leader you're becoming and the leader you are. So taking the time to really realign your style with your goals is probably one of the most practical ways to show up with confidence and clarity. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Style and Strategy podcast. So if it resonated with you, let me know. Drop me a DM, tag me on Instagram or LinkedIn. I'd love to know how it is all going with you. Take care until next week.